And I want to tell you about how emotional memory stored up in the human energy field gets drained. Emotional energy, Ed, which becomes emotional memory when it's stored up. Okay? Now imagine this is a person, Ed, and this person is feeling, Ed, soul. The soul is feeling stuff. Let's say, Ed, we have an interaction and we feel something. This feeling, Ed, releases energy, Ed, which is converted from, let's say, our base vital. Our sexual energy, Ed, of a soul is emotional energy right there. And only, Ed, the soulless will imagine that sexual energy is not emotional. It is emotional for souls 100% of the time. Now, Ed, it is that emotional energy, Ed, that gets called up, Ed, called into our bodies from the universe, Ed, and then, Ed, we store that in the form of emotional memory. And emotional memory, Ed, is like the memory of the feeling. Wow, it was a beautiful morning. How I felt when I looked at you this morning. The feeling I experienced when I touched you. The feeling of seeing the blue sky. The feeling of the breeze. All of this, Ed, it gets stored up, and this stored thing, Ed, in recent times is being called Loosh. It is basically, Ed, emotional memory or memory of feelings that is stored up in the energy field. And now what happens, Ed, is when we interact, Ed, with other living beings, plants, birds, anything, with another living being, our emotional experience reaches them and they reflect it back to us. We feel things and they feel things back. And what happens, Ed, is we get more emotional memory. And Ed, as this gathers up, this becomes motivation. Because, Ed, for example, if you see something, Ed, that makes you feel happy, then you want more of that. That motivates you. You see something that makes you sad, and then you that stirs you up into action. So for everything in life, for motivation, you need to cultivate emotional experience. We need to have, and then that needs to stay as loosh in our field for motivation. And not just motivation, Ed, but guidance. Because how do we know what our soul wants to do unless we're feeling it? We got to feel it. We got to feel like, I want that thing. I want to love that person. I want to go there. I want to experience this. I want to hold this. We got to feel. And that becomes motivation. And that also becomes guidance. It streamlines our energy, Ed. And that becomes manifestation. And it's all, it comes from emotional experience, which has to stay in our field, which has to loop back from others. Now what the thugs do, Ed, what they do, Ed, is they hack this energy field and take the loosh out. And how they do it, Ed, is they present us with a lie. They present our brains with a lie. And when we believe in this lie, as emotional souls, essentially, we want to emotionally experience it. But because they have no emotion, whoever is lying to us, they're not even real. So what happens, Ed, is we convert our emotional energy into mental energy, and then we project. Like the lie is the truth, we project it. And Ed, there is no living mirror to reflect this back. And what happens, Ed? This is the thug matrix. It's the thug matrix. It is not connected to reality because it's lies. But we, Ed, we take our vital energy, convert it to emotional and then to mental, and we feed it there, and we get nothing back. Absolutely nothing back. When this happens, Ed, this whole energy field gets drained. siphoned out and drained. Immediately, Ed, we are tired, and then we cut off emotionally. We cut off, Ed, because there's no emotional energy to interact with anyone, and there's no motivation left. We forget, Ed, why we are born. We forget what we wanted to do this morning. We forget, Ed. We forget the reason for which we wake up. We forget. I saw a meme just now online. Someone saying, I got up fully motivated, but by 9 o'clock they stole it all. So people even know, Ed, that our energy is being siphoned out like this. We're being made to project into the matrix, and it's gone. And then, Ed, we have to sleep. Our hormonal production is down because, Ed, when we lose energy, our body temperature falls. And it's our body temperature that tells the organs which hormones to make. And not interested in sex now, not interested even in emotion. We just, we want to just lie down. We want to give up on stuff. The fire is dim. And this is, Ed, what happens. And why I'm typing this is so that we know that two things you got to keep doing. You got to keep doing. You have to emotionally experience your environment and have emotional interactions only. The second you go into intellectual interaction only, that is not okay because you're being drained. You must have emotional interaction because that is soul interaction. If your soul is not being exercised, you are not making energy in your body. And if you're not making energy in your body, you are living on reserves. All the functions of the body are, they are all being fed by your emotional memory and your emotional energy. So you got to keep interacting emotionally. That's why we got to be in nature. That's why we got to be with children. That's why being with emotional people is so refreshing. Whether they say the right thing, whether they say the wrong thing, whatever the hell they do, they feed us because they exercise us. And this is why pets are so important as well, and why the thugs are always trying to get rid of pets these days. So, Ed, the other thing we should remember is to not feed the matrix by believing in lies. And Ed, you might wonder, how do I know what's the lies and what's the truth? It's so simple. If you get tired, then you've been lied to. You interact with somebody, you feel tired later, you've been lied to. They're lying. They're not even them. Either they told you lies and made you invest in it, or they themselves are a lie. And a lot of humans don't realize it. A person can give you hard, cold facts and it'll still be a lie. Anyhow, this has become a long video, Ed, so I'll stop now.